All right, we're going to get started with our post-race media availabilities. For today's NASCAR Racing Experience 300, we are joined by members of the race-winning team, which is the number 9 Bass Pro Shops BRCC Chevrolet. We have crew chief Daivd Elenz and team owner Dale Earnhardt Jr. We will open up to questions. We'll start up here with Matt, then go to Noah and Jacob.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. I'll start with Dale and then one for Dave. Having the opportunity now to win this race a couple of times with your drivers in your role, how does that compare to your days as a driver? Does it hit the same way? How is it different?
It doesn't feel the same at all, but it's a great feeling, you know. It's just a different type of satisfaction. I think as an owner, you certainly understand a lot more about what the company's done to put themselves in that position. As a driver, you might not get to see everything that encompasses the effort to get there, right? You just kind of think about your guys, your team, your car. But, you know, this whole company works as one really to get ready for the season, and it's just impressive that, you know, we've been able to sustain the success and the speed and competitiveness in our cars year after year. You never assume it, and you never know when, you know, you're going to win. You just won your last race. So it's just, but it's, you know, Dave and those guys did a great job, and Noah's worked really hard. We ask a lot of him as a young guy to mature and you know, keep his head on straight, and he's you know, he's not really allowed to be a kid. He has to you know, walk a tight line for us, and he's put in the work to get this opportunity and finally get to victory lane. Last year was a tough year for him, and it's good to be able to finally. He's so relieved, you know, and this is Daytona, biggest place you can win at and win your first one.
And for Dave, worked out in the end, but it got a little messy on the last restart. It sounded like you guys had a plan to work with the 8, and then you guys were drag racing down the backstretch. What happened with the plan, and how nervous were you watching that kind of not go according to plan?
Yeah, we had a plan to work together with them, and it's hard to, you know, work with teammates. You know, you got 2 guys pushing behind you that don't want to be a part of your plan, so it's very hard to execute. And we failed on that execution. And then when we lost the lead there, I was a little worried because at 98, he did a pretty good job blocking and side drafting all day. So I didn't know if we were going to get back by him. Then the caution happened. I felt pretty good of our chances again at that point.
Go to Noah, Jacob, and then Bob.
Noah Lewis, TSJ Sports. This question kind of adds on to the other one. This could be for either of you guys, but this is the 3rd year in a row that you guys have broken out of the gate and won the first race of the season. What does this do to the organization? What does this? Does this give them a little pep in the step around the shop, knowing that you broke out first race of the season and got the job done already?
Yeah, I think it gives us pep in the step. You know, we've worked incredibly hard this offseason, especially on our intermediate program. And our guys have put in a lot of hours, a lot of effort to get all that stuff ready. And then the big push to go to Daytona. It's going to make everybody smile a little more when we get back to the shop. So I think that's the best part of it. You know, get a little reward early on, keep the guys motivated.
Yeah, I can't add much to that. We had a brand new partner on the car, Black Rifle Coffee, and association with Bass Pro Shops. So Johnny's, you know, in Victory Lane, super excited. Anytime you can, you know, make your sponsor that happy, and you got people that are that, you know, enjoy being a part of the sport, sponsoring several different cars across various different series, to be able to go to Victory Lane, take your partners to Victory Lane, it's a great feeling. And yeah, we'll go back. We always have a beer toast. That's our ceremoniously kind of thing we do when we win a race. So I know the employees will look forward to that, and everybody gets to speak a little bit. Dave probably doesn't really enjoy that part as much, but you know, Noah certainly will. He loves to talk, and he'll have a lot of fun really celebrating this win and giving many opportunities to, you know, thank the company. And it's a great experience when we have victories within our programs.
Go to Jacob, Bob, and then Jordan.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. 2 for Dale. First, you mentioned earlier talking about kind of working with Noah and really seeing him mature, helping him with that. I can't help but think back a little bit to the early days of your career. Have you been able to kind of mold him a little bit, knowing some of what you went through at the start of your career?
I think Dave really is the guy that has so much time with him. Also, Josh Wise. He's got a lot of great people, Brandon McReynolds, that are part of his, effort to stay focused, keep his head on him straight, and prioritize the things that he needs to in his life to be successful. And he's learned a lot and changed a lot. And I think, for the most part, he's done everything that those guys have asked of him. I personally don't. He'll come to me when it really gets dark, and he'll say, look, I need to go to lunch. I can't figure out what I need to do. Or there's been a couple of situations where he's like, I just have no confidence and I don't know what my next step is. And we'll get together and hang out a little bit. But for the most part, him and Dave talk a lot. And I think Dave gives him so much great advice about what he needs to be focusing on. And we trust Noah when he's not in our hands, that he's doing the right things to stay on the right path. He's a very young kid over on the East Coast, away from his family, on his own, and he stays out of trouble, and that's all we can ask of him.
And kind of to build on that a little bit, he really started to come into his own, I feel like, the latter stages of last year, and then obviously the win today. Was there a particular turning point that you feel like you saw, or what did you see in him that made you think maybe that today was coming?
Well, I feel like that he was real consistent last year, and he would find himself in some pretty amusing situations and somehow, pull out a top 5 or a top 10 with a tore-up car or something. And he's got a really interesting personality, and which is great, but it sometimes can give off the impression that maybe he's not as dedicated as he should be. But I know for sure where his heart is and where his mind is on his craft, and that he wants it badly, and he wants to do what he needs to do and works hard to be successful. And he's just going to be him, and I think we just have to let him do that. And he's very young, and I don't I was disappointed with last year, and I think he was too. And we certainly had a lot of success with Dave in that program, but it just was a tough year for whatever reason. And this year we'll have its ups and downs, just like they all do, and we'll work with Noah and try to give him the best opportunity to succeed. And I think that he's growing up rapidly, maturing very quickly, as fast as he possibly can. And that should lean toward giving him some more success behind the wheel, as he starts to prioritize those things a little differently and what he needs to do to win. And Dave's dedicated to it. I got to give Dave a ton of credit, because coming off of 2 successful campaigns with 2 different drivers, there were some tough times with those campaigns as well. But Dave believes in Noah, and that's really the key relationship, the crew chief and the driver. And if they're not connected and believing in each other and communicating well, there's not going to be anything good that comes out of that. And Dave has stuck with it, works really hard with Noah. Every time I walk by their office, they're in there together, communicating, talking. I feel like Noah spends quite a bit of time around the shop, always making himself available. And so I think that they're going to have a much better year than they had last year, for sure.
I'm going to go to Bob, Jordan, and then Tim.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. For Dale, do you think the win will kind of allow him to maybe feel more comfortable being himself now that he has a win?
Y'all better be ready when he comes in here. Yeah, I don't think that's anything you really want to corral or try to limit, or you guys just let him be himself, and that's going to appeal to some people and maybe not to everybody, but he doesn't have to worry about that. He just, I think he should be himself, and if he's doing everything that we're asking him to do as far as trying to be successful as a driver, then whatever his personality is, that's what it is. That's who he is, and I think he's great for the sport. And if we can get him in victory lane more often, it'll be good for everybody.
Can he win a championship with his mental and talent?
Absolutely, yeah. you know, Dave's worked wonders with a couple guys in the past, and two completely different personalities with William and Reddick. So, there was times in that season with Reddick where I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, but Dave told me, he's like, if we can get to a certain race, we're going to win this championship. I believe we can do it, and I'm like, okay, man, if you say so. And they went and did it. I'm never going to question Dave's focus or his direction or his plans again after that season, because I wasn't as sure as he was. And so, you know, I feel like that, you know, Noah can be himself, and that'll be good for the sport. And Dave's going to stick there beside him and give him every opportunity he can and try to help him continue to grow. He's still got a lot to learn and a lot to improve, and they're going to have a busy season doing all that.
I'm going to go to Tim, Holly, and then Peter.
Tim Packman, KickingTheTires.net. For Dale, it was 16 years ago today you won your first Daytona 500. So you know it comes down to the end, the intensity and the pressure and how you feel in the car. When it comes down to the end, is one of your cars leading here, which hat do you put on, the owner or the driver, or a mix of both?
I hate it. I don't enjoy watching those races with our guys out there. I should. I probably will regret experiencing the races that way, because it should be enjoyable, but it's really tough. It's really nerve-wracking, and I'm so disappointed for Justin. He's working really hard to try to get back to victory lane in Daytona, and Rick Brandt came into victory lane to support us. What a great sponsor. I mean, the guy, his car crashes out and he comes to victory lane and stood there just to be there. I'm just an incredible partner that he is. So I feel it's tough to watch the disappointment in a few teams, and then other teams, you know, what team wins. It's very sort of getting pulled in a lot of different directions emotionally, but it's tough. And it is, anytime we're in the battle or we're in the thick of it down at the end of these races, it is a miserable, sort of gut-wrenching feeling that I don't really enjoy. But going to victory lane's sure worth it.
Holly?
Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. And Dale, my question's kind of along those lines. I just wonder if you could talk a little bit about Jeb Burton. He won a stage and led the most laps in the race today and was very disappointed after.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you've seen the emotion from Jeb in the past couple of years, and I think that a lot of y'all probably know Jeb's story, but he works harder. I don't know of many drivers that work harder than he does to cultivate relationships and partnerships, to create opportunities and races and chances to drive. I don't know that many guys work as hard as he does to attain the opportunity to be in the car, and I think that's why it matters to him so much, because he knows he puts so much effort into just being there, getting in that car, and he knows that he has to succeed to see more opportunities, right? He has to win. He knows that he can't sustain this work ethic and not have results. He has to get himself into victory lane to realize a full season in a car or an opportunity in Cup or whatever it is, whatever his dreams are, right? So he's living and dying by every lap, you know, and he's very emotional about it, and he wants it so badly. He grew up in the sport and wants to go out there and be a winner like his uncle and his dad, and we're trying to help him do that. He's a great guy, such a good guy. He did.
Go in the back to Peter.
Peter Strada with TSJ Sports. Dale, you've mentioned Noah's personality a couple times already, and you also mentioned the past drivers who David's acted as a mentor towards. Are there any similarities between Byron, Reddick, and Noah in terms of personality or driving style? If this question's more suited to David, you can answer too.
Yeah, what do you think, Dave?
I don't know what to think. They're all they're all a little bit different. William, definitely is prim and proper all the way through, and was a little easier to understand and know earlier on in the season. Both Reddick and Noah took a little while to understand how they work and how they think and what they're trying to do. But I don't think you can really compare Noah and Tyler on the same hand. They're just both their own kind of individuals that have very unique personalities. But I think the one thing between all three of them is they all know where they want to be and what they want to do, and they're going to work as hard as they can to get there. So been fortunate to work with those guys.
Yeah, I think Williams going to be a rock star in this sport. He's got such a great opportunity with Hendrick, and he's got it. He's buttoned up all the way through the marketing side, the appearance, the talent. So I think he could be a very, very popular figure in this sport for a long time. Reddick is very aggressive. I love his driving style. He's going to be so much fun to call races for in the booth over the years. So I'm hoping that he's successful just so he can provide us with all that entertainment on a weekly basis. And Noah's just this young kid just trying to figure out everything, and trying to he's not quite got a style, I don't think, yet. He's still trying to figure that out, and we're trying to figure him out,
All right. Well, Dale and Dave,
Thank you.
congratulations. Thanks for joining us. All right. We're going to wrap up our media availabilities for today's NASCAR Racing Experience 300. We are joined by our race winner, Noah Gragson, driver of the number 9 Bass Pro Shops BRCC Chevrolet. We will open it up to questions. Please raise your hand and we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Jacob.
This is a long way removed from a graduated with a Legends car, isn't it, Noah? When you started years ago, cutting your teeth there, could you have pictured this day on this stage?
Never. I started racing when I was 13 years old and raced Bandoleros for a year and then Legend cars. And I've always looked up to guys that I'm racing out on the racetrack, these bigger name guys. And I'm still a big fan of theirs. So to be able to race against them and be able to race here at Daytona, I never would have dreamed about racing here. It's a privilege to be able to be here at Daytona, driving a fast Chevrolet and for Junior Motorsports, man, it's a privilege. And then to be able to win, I can't put it into words. What I'm feeling right now, I'm trying to soak it all in, and never would have thought this day would have come, but very, very thankful for everybody who's been there along the way and wouldn't be here without them.
To follow up, Dale was in here a couple minutes ago and really talked about the growth he's seen from you the second half of last year into this year. What's that process been like for you, just trying to come into your own and still be yourself, but really figure out your path and what you need to do to be successful here?
Just trying to set my priorities and sacrifice hanging out with friends and going to bed early, waking up early, going to work out, finding the priorities. I've worked really hard this offseason and worked hard with Josh Wise, worked hard with my crew chief, Dave Elenz, just trying to be the best that I can be, and spent a lot of time with Dale here earlier this week, trying to pick his brain and just trying to learn. I was asking him questions, came prepared with questions with him, and sat there for about 2 hours and just tried to pick his brain, tried to observe everything he was trying to say. And I think without that talk, I don't know if I'd be sitting here right now. So very thankful for everybody at Junior Motorsports who just gave me this opportunity. I'm just a Las Vegas kid who started racing at 13 years old and have had great people along the way to be able to get me to this point. And it's a privilege and an honor to be able to race here at Daytona and for Junior Motorsports, and I'm very grateful for it.
I'm going to go to Zach, Matt, and then up to the press box.
Zach Tanswetti, kickatthetires.net. When it came to your front stretch after show, after the race, it was long and it was very entertaining for a lot of people. Was that just how it hit you, just whatever came to mind you were going to do, or was it just on the moment, or was it something you kind of had planned that you were going to do if you won here?
When I played NASCAR inside line, when I was racing Bandoleros and Legend cars and K&N series, and I would do like a 10-minute burnout after I'd win and stuff, and figured, man, if I could ever do that shit in real life, that'd be pretty damn cool. And I was able to today. So I caught the track on fire. I thought that'd always be really, really cool to catch the track on fire from doing a burnout, and I was able to do that. And yeah, just trying to give the fans a show. Coming off of turn 4 and through the tri-oval on that last lap when the checkers were waving, I saw everybody up on their feet and could hear them cheering. So it's like I said, a privilege to be able to race here at Daytona, and they spend their hard-earned money to be able to come out here. And for me to try and put on a show, I feel like I'm a weird, energetic, kind of bold personality guy. I feel like, man, if I can just give them a show, that's what they want. So I'm thankful for all the fans that came out today. It looked like a packed house. The infield was packed, and I've never seen it this full for an Xfinity race, and tomorrow it's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, I threw the water bottle too. Hopefully someone got it. Tried to give them I was thinking about giving them my gloves, but I only get like 2 of those, 2 pairs a year. So I kind of got to sacrifice those a little bit and keep them, get them worn out a little bit after the first race. But yeah, it's a good day. I told myself I was going to buy some AirPods if I won the race today, because people were giving me shit for wearing the corded Apple earphones that come with the iPhone. So yeah, there's a lot of positives coming after this race right now.
We'll go to Matt and then up to the press box for
Matt
two
Weaver,
questions.
Auto Week. You got to work on the cannon a little bit. It took 2 shots at it.
I know. I was doing 100 push-ups a day over the off season. I got up to 43 days, and I thought I miscounted. I thought I was on day 30, but I was really on 43, so I went 13 extra days for no reason, kind of. But maybe I needed to go 60 or something. I finally got it over on the 3rd time, 3 for Dale, but it worked out. Hopefully someone got something cool, and it was a fun day.
So I've got 2 for you. On the note that you're a weird, energetic, kind of exciting personality, Dale had mentioned earlier, and Dave too, that it's important to them that you remain true to yourself, but that at the same time they ask a lot of you. They want you to work on certain things, and that's kind of been a constant theme throughout your career, that everyone wants you to stay you, but it's a matter of focusing on the priorities, the things that you talked about earlier. How has that process changed from, say, your time at KBM to now what teams are asking of you, and how much do you feel like you've changed, and what's still the same?
I feel like my personality, I feel comfortable. Some people, when they're joking around, it's because they're nervous. I feel more comfortable joking around and more focused when I'm joking around, and it might come off that way, but I'm very narrowly focused. That's just how I operate. So I guess it's different for everyone, but I know there's a common goal, and we work really hard throughout the week. We were working hard over the off season. I mean, Tuesday, the night before we left, I was at the shop till 9:30, just helping them put together the trailer, and then was up at 4:30 to fly out down here for media day. So we're really jiving as a team right now, and I think just earning their trust, earning their respect was the biggest thing over this past year, and it took 2/3 of the season for myself to understand Dave and Dave to understand me, and the team chemistry is better than it's ever been. The confidence is there. So we need to still keep our heads down. We need to still stay focused. We can't let what today take our mindset off what we need to do for next weekend, the weekend after that, and the rest of the year. We're here to contend for a championship, and I'm very, very thankful for everybody who helps me out at Junior Motorsports. We're one team. I think it showed there in the first stage when we were 1, 2, 3, 4, and to be able just to be a small part of this number 9 team, it's a privilege and it's an honor.
And a process question for you. On the right before last restart with you and Jeb on the front row, sounded like the plan was you wanted to be able to jump in front of him and ride the top together. And then on the backstretch, you guys are on a drag race. What changed on that restart, and what kind of complicated with the pushes behind you guys, and how did that kind of unfold?
I just was trying to get the best start as possible, and feelings are up. I didn't really feel like I could do anything in the situation. It was just all about his timing, and it didn't really work out. But hey, it is what it is. We're racing for the win. We're gonna have a good shot there, and the caution came out, and I don't know. It all went by so fast, but I think just if I could go talk to him, I'm going to go talk to him and just tell him to execute it a little bit better. It was really big at Kyle Busch Motorsports doing teammate restarts and stuff. I've had a lot of experience doing that, so I was happy when we crossed the start-finish line first, and wish he would have been there to be second. But hey, it is what it is, and we'll move on for another week. Try it again.
Was that a bad block on Chase when you were on top and he comes
he was clear, and then I got I almost hooked him in the right rear quarter panel, and he felt that, and he pulled away, and he was clear for a sec, and then I was able to pull right back up to his quarter panel. His block wasn't big enough, and if he would have stayed there, then I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. But yeah, I turned him enough, left rear out, right front to the right, enough to be able to get back to his quarter panel, and it goes by super fast there those last couple laps. But yeah, it worked out. We were able to execute in the next restart. I think I had the 20 behind me on that next restart, and we were able to lead the top lane and side draft and execute perfectly. So just trying to manage the guys behind me, that was a big part of the discussion with Dale earlier this week, and just trying to prepare as best as possible. I knew the guy who was best prepared was going to win this race, and I felt like I did the best job possible to prepare myself for this weekend.
I'm going to go up to the press box to Jim and Chris, and then come back down to Luis.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. Congratulations, Noah. You talked earlier about the sacrifice and the work that you've had to do over the last year. It's one thing for people to tell you things about what you could do to get better. It's another to see it actually come to fruition. You got to do that in the first race of the year and the biggest race of the year. So what does that do for you, a guy who kind of lives off your confidence going forward from this point?
Well, the time is now. The opportunity's now. I just need to execute here this year, and it's a big year for me. I have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so to try and be the best I can be, and I know when I lay my head down at night, if I feel like I've done all the reps in the gym, I've prepared the best I could, I'm spending good quality time with my team. If I feel like I've done everything to the best I can with no regrets, then no matter the result, you can't control the results necessarily. You can just control what you can do. So if I feel like I can do everything possible to make me better and lay my head down at night, then I'll be satisfied regardless of the results.
Stay upstairs with Chris.
Yeah, Chris Knight, CatchFans.com. Noah, congratulations. Obviously, this is a huge win for you. But next week you head to Las Vegas, your hometown track, and obviously a lot of friends and family there. So you're taking so much energy and momentum to that racetrack. What's it going to be like in Vegas next week?
It's huge. It's huge not only going to Vegas next week, but to be able to spend quality time with my family and get the win here early on in the season, first race of the year. We're locked into the playoffs. We got 5 playoff points and some good points throughout the race. We scored points in all 3 of the stages, and so I'm really proud of this team. I'm really proud to be able to go back to Vegas. I got some friends and family there. I'm going to spend some quality time with my family and try and get prepared. We're going to enjoy this one, but come Monday morning, 6 a.m., I'll be up, ready to go, drinking some Black Rifle coffee, and headed over to Chip Ganassi Racing for a workout and just start it all over again, try and get another one.
I'm going to go to Luis, Bob, Davey, and then upstairs to Lee.
Luis Torres, Motorsports Tribune. When you were lifting that trophy, what was exactly on your mindset? Because the last time, if I imagine, on a NASCAR sanctioning event, the trophy didn't last all that well at Sonoma. What was the mind? How do you felt this time around winning at Daytona? And above all, how important in this day and age is to have the fans support you in giving back?
It was a lot heavier than it looked in the driver's meeting, I know that, but that's all right. I'm thankful to just be able to race here, like I said, and to be able to hold that trophy up. It's a dream, and I'm glad we fulfilled that today. There's been a lot of sacrifice with everybody at Junior Motorsports, my mom, my dad, my sister, my family, getting me to this level. So very, very thankful for that. And what was the second part of that?
The second part was how important this time with social media and everything to have this much support and also giving back to your fans.
Well, it's great to be able to have a fan base that I do right now. I see everybody's comments and on Instagram and Twitter and everything, and I try and like them all and read them all, and I'm thankful for that support. I wanted to be, I always looked up to Clint Boyer as a kid growing up when I started racing Bandoleros when I was 13. I loved his personality and just felt like I connected on a personal level with him, and always thought if I can maybe carry myself like him or Travis Pastrana and just be relatable to the fans and be myself. And like I said, I'm a weirdo. So I know I'm weird. I'm energetic. I'm ADD. I got all that stuff, and I kind of beat to my own drum. But hey, that makes me me, and I'm thankful for all the fans who stick behind my side and support me and tweet on me and buy some T-shirts and everything. I definitely notice it, and I'm very thankful for it.
I go to Bob, Davey, and then back upstairs to Lee.
Bob Harkris, Fox Sports. Do you feel like you can win the championship? And a year ago, did you feel like you were prepared or ready or had the ability to win it?
I thought from the beginning of last year that, I mean, it took 2/3 of the year, I felt like, for us to finally get that snowball building up with momentum and for us to be on the same page as a team communication-wise. It takes time. It's hard, and I'm fortunate to be able to work with Dave Elenz and the number 9 team again to start this year off the way we ended. I thought we ended strong at Homestead with the top 5 finish. We were able to lead laps there. We had a really strong car there, and we built all year for that opportunity. Now that the final race of the season moves over to Phoenix, we're going to have to work really hard. I feel like that's one of my struggle tracks, and we're going to go there early this year, and it's going to be tough, but the adversity keeps us going, and just very, very fortunate to be able to drive for this number 9 team at Junior Motorsports. It's a dream of mine, and I got the best team to surround myself with, the best people, and the most confidence leading into these next couple of races and the rest of this year.
Go to Davey, Lee, and then Peter.
Davey Siegel with Front Stretch. Last year at Sonoma, you said that when you're in a position to win, coming down to the stretch, you kind of tense up and you almost forget to breathe inside of the race car, and that's maybe one of the reasons why you release your inner demons after races, so to speak. Did that happen this time, or is that kind of out the window?
No, I didn't throw up. I don't know why I throw up after the race. It's kind of weird, but I climbed the fence and my heart rate's through the roof, and yeah, I'm hot. I got my helmet on. I'm thirsty, and I don't know. Then you get down, and then you got all these ginormous pit crew guys, just shaking you around and picking you up, and you feel like a rugrat out there. So I don't know why I throw up, but it's probably a combination of all that stuff that I feel like I just ran a marathon and then stopped instantly, and yeah, it just comes out. But it didn't today. I paced myself. I tried to, and it's fun. I don't mind throwing up because that means I win. So hopefully I can throw up some more this year, I guess, I don't know.
All right, we'll go to Lee in the press box.
Lee Spencer, RacingVoice.com. Congratulations, Noah. Just kind of curious, do you think, even though Daytona is a different animal, that you have the opportunity to establish yourself as perhaps the next generation of Big 3 drivers in the Xfinity Series?
I just need to do the best job I can do, and I can't really put that label on myself. I just want to stay focused on our team over at Junior Motorsports, on myself, and just trying to be productive 24/7 throughout the week and on the weekends, and just trying to put full focus into this. I got a great opportunity, like I said, and I can't really put that label on myself. I just got to go out there and do the best job possible, and hopefully the results will come.
And when you behaved as the boss, let you play PUBG?
Do what now?
When you behaved as the boss, let you play PUBG?
I guess I play PUBG 24/7 because I'm always behaved, right? Yeah, I've been playing some PUBG Mobile lately, doing some iRacing with him, and he's a good guy. Dale Jr.'s a good guy, and he's enabled me to have this opportunity with Junior Motorsports, and without him, none of this would be possible.
Go in the back to Peter.
Peter Strada with TSJ Sports. Noah, first of all, congrats on your first win. With no more Big 3 in the Xfinity Series, do you think the championship goes through one, if not multiple, Junior Motorsports cars this year?
Yeah, I think we're really strong. I think that showed there at the first stage and through practice, through the race. that first stage, we met this earlier this week and talked about it, and our goal was to have all 4 junior motorsports cars in the top 4 and be leading this race. And so I know it wasn't there at the end of the race, but at least we were able to score that stage 1 victory with Jeb out front, and it was satisfying to see us 4 up there. And I know Dale and Kelly, LW, everybody was happy at that point. I know they're happy right now with the number 9 car in victory lane, and to be a small part of the junior motorsports team is quite the honor. It's something I never would have expected, and have an opportunity here that I need to take advantage of. So working with my teammates closely, working with Josh Wise, everybody being on the same page is going to help this year. We got Daniel Hemrick as an add-on this year. He's going to be very, very valuable to our company at Junior Motorsports. And we went through a little bit of a drought last year, and it was frustrating at times, but that adversity, I think, makes us all hungrier. It makes us work harder. There's a lot of late nights at the shops, early morning, and I'm ready to go. I know the team behind me is ready to go, and I couldn't do it without everybody at Junior Motorsports.
Do we have any final questions for Noah? All right, Noah, congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thank you, guys.